Hey guys, hope you are having a good week. This is going to be a little bit different of a video from me since it is all hands, and we all know how awkward I am with my hand gestures anyways, so when they're the only thing featured, who knows what's going to happen. So far this. Put them down, Marie. I had a different video planned for this week, but there was a change of plans, so I looked at what you guys have requested, and a lot of people wanted to see bullet journal flip-throughs. This looks crazy intimidating. If you're not into bullet journaling, I'm still going to try and make this video something fun for you to watch. It's kind of like going to a friend's house and wanting to peer into their medicine cabinet. Looking into my bullet journal is like being able to crack open my brain and seeing how I function inside. So that can be fairly interesting, right? This is the book that I am currently working out of. This is a Le Môme. It has a suede finish, a slightly different shape than the LT 1917, which is what these ones are, and the paper is much thicker. I really like the binding and the pen loop on the back, but we're not going to talk about this book just yet. I wanted to start with how I used my bullet journals from last year. So this is the first bullet journal I used for last year, and this is the one I ended the year in. I figure if we take those two and get rid of these ones, things are crashing and falling, then these books alone will give you a good snapshot of how I have settled on bullet journaling my life and staying organized. This is my brain on paper, not on drugs, on paper. I never understood that commercial. I still don't get it. I thought that when I grew up I would understand more, but I still don't understand why my brain looks like a fried egg if I'm on drugs. Anyway, since I am planning to go through 2 full books here, I have gone through and mapped out pages that I thought would be helpful for you to see. Any of the ones that are paper clipped together are more of the same, and I just don't want to get too repetitive here. So this is a good snapshot of what I started with in this book and what I ended with at the end of 2017. If you saw my last and only bullet journal video, then you saw my favorite products in my bullet journal 3 to 5s. If you want to see that, most of the products that I use there are still the same, but there are a couple of changes. The next bullet journal video I'm going to do is on the book that I am currently in, and I will talk about which products I'm still using and which ones I've shifted away from. You'll also see which spreads I'm still using and which ones I've shifted away from. That one's coming soon. But for the most part, I'm still loving and using all the products that I mentioned in the first video that I made, so go ahead and check that one out if you're interested to see. There are buckets of inspirational bullet journal videos that you can follow online. There are wonderful artists who do amazing works of art in their bullet journals. I am not that girl. This book is totally utilitarian. My theory behind bullet journaling is to cover a couple of bases. 1, I want it to be an actual functioning organizational system. 2, I want it to be a time capsule of what was going on in my head, my heart, and my days. That means that it's messy, because I'm messy. And while I do have some doodles and a little bit of whimsy in there, there is no artistry in this beast, I promise you. So if you find that relatable at all, then keep watching. Put on your Fast Talkin' Marie hats because we got to go through 2 books. We're going to do this quick. First page is my index. I have everything laid out here so I can just flip through and find it easily, and then all of my collections are marked with a different colored triangle. So my honey-do lists are marked with a turquoise triangle, my frivolous spending logs marked with pink. Each time it shows up in the index, I have a triangle next to it so I can flip through and see them all easily. As we turn the page, you'll see my very first mistakes, which this entire book is riddled full of them. It's my at-a-glance calendar, except for the fact that I forgot 3 months, so I just added them in over here on the side, which is fine. I needed to just glance at 1 month at a time anyways. But there you go, out of whack right off the bat. I also have my key over here, which, while is great in theory, I abandoned right out of the gate. Next page is my Calendex, and everything is coded. Birthdays, holiday, no school, special dates. Just gives me the overview of the year. I also grayed out some dates that I couldn't consider for some special projects and things that we were working on. This is really handy, but I do have some problems with it, so I'll address that when I get to my current bullet journal that I'm in right now. Next is my annual bingo board. Bingo. It's cheesy, but it's accurate. These are things that I want to get done throughout the year. They're not all necessarily bucket list things. Most of them are chores, like painting the front door, taking down our deck, things like that, but they are things that I wanted to get done in the year. As you can tell, as far as this book went, I didn't get very much down. But I also was incredibly sick while growing human life, so I give myself a break for that. This is a wash. I barely kept it up, and I haven't done it in a book since. My first monthly spread, started it with a task tracker and didn't finish it off. I really wanted to show you guys these because I think it's important when you start a bullet journal to just keep going. You have to use the just keep swimming mentality, because when you finish a book and you set it up on your shelf, years to come from now, I'm going to flip through, I'm going to open to a random page, and I'm not going to go, look at this unfinished project. Instead, I'm going to look through the dates here and go, oh my gosh, that's the day that we went to the aquarium and Luca called it Compuarium. I remember that. I had forgotten entirely about that. That's what future Marie's gonna say. Here's the day that Christy did my maternity shots in 21-degree weather at the beach. It's a time capsule of what was going on. I don't care about this. I care about this. So you just keep swimming. On the back of every monthly, I have my forward planning very basic for the following month. And then this now lives at the beginning of my monthlies. This is sort of my welcome page to each month, but I still do keep this up. It's a dial with every day of the month on there. And then if an important memory comes off of one of the days, I just jot it down. So instead of journaling every single day, I just use this little dial. Here's my Compuarium Day memory. Just little memories that made me happy. He was so little. Scarlett and Luca have taken to meeting in her bunk with a stack of stories for Scarlett to read. As late as it makes bedtime, I secretly love the memories that they're making. See, I like that kind of stuff. Next is my frivolous spending log. This is just anything that is not for ultimate survival that we spend throughout the month. So almost everything besides food, gas, and utilities goes in here. Then at the end of the month, I give myself a nice little sock in the gut. Don't judge me. Some awestruck notes for one of the awestruck videos I did. Quotes that my family said that I wanted to keep. And then this is my first weekly spread. And I'm pretty sure throughout this book, I kept this format the entire time. Never really did figure out what to do with this. I thought about doing a weekly tracker or keeping track of hydration or something, but I already have a monthly tracker, and like I said, this book is utilitarian, so for me that would have been something that I would have been doing just to fill up space, so it remained empty. Notes that don't necessarily need to fall in any day of the week, but I do need to keep in mind. A grocery list, my meals, and then here I have my personal to-do list, my business to-do list, and how I was feeling that day in my pregnancy. This is my YouTube tracker. I remember feeling like I was doing YouTube stuff all day, every day, but then I never had videos up and I didn't understand how that was possible. So I wanted to start keeping track of the time and effort that I was spending on YouTube to really see where my effort and focus were going and whether it was worth it. So that was my very first one of those. And this is my monthly tracker. I still do these. I still like these. We're going quick, people. We're going quick. Couple little journaling pages. A lady who was 87, I believe, gave me this. I thought it was so cute, so I tucked it in here and kept it. Scarlett, 5 years old, so this was beginning of last year. She's 7 now. That's crazy. This was the end of her being 5 years old. Drew me a little picture. I think that's her thinking about flowers, all the flowers on her shirt. I like letting my kids doodle in my bullet journal because, once again, it's a time capsule, and her drawing has progressed so much since then. Anytime I was doing something for YouTube, I marked it with one of these yellow tabs so I can find my YouTube spreads easily. And this is the Cup of Craft grid challenge that we did. We marked out grids, we made an illustration, and then we colored one grid each day. If you want to join Cup of Craft, that link is below too. It's our Facebook little crafty artsy group. Another weekly spread. This day was memorable, so I made it stand out a little. Can you see what I'm talking about with the lack of artistry? But it does the job. I totally remember that day. I did a little random journaling on that page. I tried out one of these like dot grid graph deals. I failed. This was when I was pregnant and I was having such a hard time for a couple of days that I thought I would keep track of my moods as I had seen other bullet journalers do. And I totally did it backwards because 1 was my low, 10 was my high, and as you can see, I stayed at 10 most of the time, so I flip-flopped it. I don't know. It was a mess. It didn't work. A February spread. Same sort of thing, the frivolous spending. Here's a honey-do log. This is just for me and Ryan to keep track of projects that he is taking on around the house. It's just a good way for us to stay on the same page about things he's doing or that we're doing together. Another tracker, another YouTube time chart. This time I started doing a calendar spread as well, and I keep both of those now. More awestruck notes. This is my multi-shop list. So 1 page each month, it kind of moves around in my book. I have all the places that I frequent the most, and as I need things from those places, I write them in their own little space, cross them out when I'm there. This is always tucked in my bag, so I always have it with me. Another weekly. This is Scarlett's unicorn party week, so I think I was sort of doing unicorn colors. Scarlett's birthday checklists, church songs that I like that I wanted to sing to the kids at bedtime, notes on my HG diagnosis. More awestruck notes. I don't know exactly what video this one was for, but apparently Luca pooped, and that was important to take note of. More weeklies. Now we're into March. Tried to do the dot grid thing again. I kept some of these in here because I wanted you to see how messy some of them were, and then I don't care. I have the memories, and that's the part that's important. This one I have opened up to show you because this is my due date, and this is when I had my baby, and apparently I was craving fruit stripe gum. I don't know what happened with this spread, but I went a little color loco. But Sadie June was born, and I remember telling everybody that if I was still pregnant, I would go live on this date, and that was the date that she was born. So that didn't happen. In my current book, I will show you how I use these side margins and things. When I was in the hospital, I doodled a little Sadie June thing, and because I called her Posy Pops right out of the gate, I doodled a couple little posies in there. Doodled in the hospital with a sleeping newborn in the isolette. I think this is a unicorn, Pegasus, fancy thick creature. I don't know. Somebody said a thing, I liked it, so I wrote it down. And we're wrapping up to the end of this book, but I did want to show you the mess that it devolved into, including at the very end here, a big old chomp out of the page. I'm pretty sure Hiccup the bunny rabbit did that because he enjoys a good book as much as I do. You'll notice on this last page I have, what are these called? Somebody will know in the comments, but I don't remember what they're officially called. You cut your last piece of cardstock right here, separate it a little bit, add some washi tape so that it sticks out. Then you have this nice little tab that sticks out, and you can mark important people or things that you want to categorize your bullet journal with. I had one for each one of the kids in the family. You can see now they are all blacked out because I think little Luca was a helper. That also shows how much he's matured because that's not something he would do anymore. But this is a handy tip, and I do want to do it in my newest one, where each person in your family is assigned a color, or if you're using it for business, then each category is assigned a color. And when you fan out the pages when you're done, there is a little bit of that color on each page where you have mentioned that person so that you can just flip it open and see right away. So since Luca was orange, I would be able to go like this and see orange on the corners of every page. But it's okay that Luca sabotaged me because I didn't keep up with it anyway. That is that book. How you doing, guys? Are you still here? Back in the day, this would have been a two-part video. Let's see how much had changed by the time I got to the end of the year. I really don't think it was very much. When it's opened up, you see a little watercolor paper that a viewer, Andrea, gave to me. She is someone that I met at one of the conferences, and she gave me a bunch of these little slips of paper, and I tape them in different places around my life because they make me happy. She's like a young Anne of Green Gables incarnate, and it gives me a lot of joy that there are Anne of Green Gables millennials out there. In this book, I didn't do the index at all. I've got a page for lullabies to sing to my kids, one of my favorite songs that we sing in church, a deep clean list that I barely even tried on. The bingo board traveled over to this book, slightly more productive this time, and a master list for honeydews instead of having it every month. These are things either I can't do on my own, Ryan wants to do on his own, or we're doing together. The quotes from my kid page. I really like my little kid doodle, but I've decided to move my quotes into their own book. I don't want to have to flip through every bullet journal to see them, so they are now in their own standalone book. My Sadie Monthlies. This is Sadie at 1 month. These are totally inspired by Carrying Little Bee on Instagram. She's an artist, and I love the things she does. She's also in the Cuppa Happy, and it gives me a little time capsule of remembering what Sadie was like. My baby shower, just some little notes and things to remember from my baby shower. Who was there, the gifts that were given, little notes about it because I did make a video for Awestruck. This is a best laid plans kind of thing. I really actually like this. I wish I would have kept it up better. I didn't write in my measurements here because I knew I was going to share it on the internet, so I put them on Post-its and took them off because I'm just not that brave yet. I will get there though. Seriously, I'm going to have to implement this in my new one again because I actually really like it. And then I had what I ate. I thought this was handy because you eventually run out of ideas of what to eat when you're on a diet or any sort of healthy living lifestyle. So I thought it would be fun to flip back through and see things that I was like, oh yeah, I really like that, and make it again. I kept it up okay. Yeah, I did that all right. This is Sadie at 2 months. She's a blank page. I'm just kidding. I have Post-its for each month so that I can make the doodles, and right now the only page that got done was 1 month. Such is the life of a third child. My summer bucket list. Look at all the fun things we did that summer. That's so fun. August with 2 little flowers. All of my monthlies are marked with a bit of washi so that I can flip to them really easily. Yeah, there's October's washi. Oh, it's Sadie at 3 months. You can see what I mean by the Post-it notes. My August YouTube schedule, and I tried a new tracker this time. It didn't work. So we just keep moving. My unnecessary spending for that month kind of got abandoned. This was new, and I still like it. I don't still do it, but I don't know why. I switched up my weekly and just did a daily checklist. I like the way it looks. This is when we went to our family cabin. Little doodles along the way. Look, I stuck a cherry sticker in there. Breastfeeding in public notes. Man, I had a lot to say on that one, didn't I? More to-dos. Apparently I really liked the way that last one went, and I kept going, oh, look at how the Pegasus has progressed. Another talking points for Awestruck, Moana is mentioned. I don't remember that. Do you guys? Back to school food list for making lunches and breakfast. My September list. Look at how I spelled autumn. There should be another U here. Autumn. September goals. Oh, we did this in Cup of Craft. We all attempted a mood mandala together. It was pretty, but I felt like kind of pointless for my life, so I didn't do it again. But it's pretty, and I'm glad I have it. 21 Day Fix brain dump, another multi-shop list, more daily notes, my October spread. You guys get the idea. This is how I use my bullet journal. How is this making you feel? Is it helpful to see one that has chicken scratch in it, or is it intimidating because I am drawing all of these boxes by myself? But seriously, you have to think of it like crocheting or painting or anything. You can go buy a scarf that's already knitted, or you can do it yourself. It's about the process. It's not about having to draw 30 boxes every single month. It's cathartic. It's like a Zen garden as you're making all of these like geometric shapes and stuff. It's a good time. You should try it. And that is about it for this book. This one has a couple blank pages to finish it off, and I am okay with that. As I head into my next bullet journal video, you have to tell me what you want to see. Is there anything specifically I didn't talk about in these two that you want to see in the new one that I'm doing? Anybody really can bullet journal. You don't have to be an artist, and it feels so satisfying to finish a book, know that it's encapsulating your life, and have it go up on your shelf. It's like a written word album. And when I say anybody, I mean anybody. Look at this guy. See that guy? That face? He has a bullet journal. His is way more utilitarian, absolutely no doodles in it, but he keeps it. Maybe I'll show his when I crack this one open in that next video, with his permission, of course. So that is it for this week. I will be live on Thursday. In the comments below, let me know your favorite bullet journalers to watch. It can be really satisfying to watch some of those beautiful creations get written down on paper. Or do you have any channels that you follow that are more chicken scratch utilitarian mess monsters like I am? Please, oh please, make sure you thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notifications, and I'll see you next live. Dazzle fingers out.